Hello and welcome to the Wrestling Rant with jago107. And I am your host, jago107. It is time for the recap of WrestleMania 40, which took place in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, at, I believe it was called the Lincoln Financial Stadium. So let's take a look at that. And let's compare what actually happened to my predictions. And once again, we are on the official WWE website. So again, all pictures, graphics, and everything belongs to them. Yes, there. This is the results page. It's very much not in order. And these results here, nothing's in order, but it seems to have every match from both Saturday and Sunday. But again, nothing is in order. So, as you can see here, this would have been Sunday. McIntyre, the World Heavyweight Championship match. Drew McIntyre ended up beating Seth Rollins. With, of course, some chicanery. Drew spent most of the match disinterested. He did like a tweet during the match. He was so disinterested because, and we'll get to this when it shows up in the frickin' results here, but Rollins was battered and weak after the tag match that happened on Saturday. So he goes into this match not really at 100%. And it was basically just easy pickings for McIntyre. CM Punk was on commentary, which McIntyre was distracted. Apparently, McIntyre got the Claymore just seconds into the match, but Rollins kicked out. Rollins had this special entrance with this, like... Okay. There was a little thing that came up there. Mummers Parade. I don't know what a Mummers Parade... I was going to say something like Mardi Gras. But he has this special entrance with all these people, so many people dressed up in these party costumes. I don't know what the hell this is. But apparently Drew got a special entrance as well. So McIntyre hits 2 Claymores for the 3 count. And after the win, Rollins leaves. But McIntyre celebrates, jumps up on the announce table, gloats right in CM Punk's face, and after dangling the title in the face of Punk and using the DX crotch chop, Punk retaliates, pulling McIntyre's legs out from under him, strikes him with the arm brace that Punk had on his arm, because his arm was hurt. So Punk beats down McIntyre, and then, of course, Damian Priest comes in with his Money in the Bank briefcase, and he clocks Drew just as I thought he would. He cashes in, and it literally took about 5 seconds or so, maybe 10. Priest hoists McIntyre up with the, what the hell does he call it? South of Heaven sitting choke slam. He hits that 1, 2, 3, and the match is over. That was literally all there was to it. So yes, Damian Priest is the new World Heavyweight Champion. And McIntyre only watches from the ring while Punk serenaded him with a sarcastic round of applause from ringside. I don't know if this was on night 1 or 2, but there was this 6-man tag match, The Pride, which was Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, versus the Final Testament, which is Karrion Kross and the Authors of Pain. And this was a 6-man tag team Philadelphia street fight. I forgot to mention the Philadelphia street fight part. Doesn't really matter. The match is not all that important. We also had Snoop Dogg on commentary, and for whatever reason, Bubba Ray Dudley showed up to be the special guest referee. There were weapons, blah-de-blah-de-blah. B-Fab, which is a chick who's the manager, I guess, of the Pride. She hit AOP with a steel chair, and then Scarlett hit her with a trash can. We got some of the classic Dudley Boys, What's Up, Headbutt, and blah, blah. Montez Ford hits a frog splash through a table and won the match. So I was wrong in this one. We had, the Pride actually won. Again, the match was basically meaningless. It just ends the feud, or maybe it ends the feud. Who cares? We have LA Knight defeats AJ Styles. I actually predicted AJ to win that one, but I mean, like I said, it was going to be a good match either way. Just skip right to the finish. AJ went for a phenomenal forearm for at least a second time, whatever. LA Knight caught him, hits the BFT, and gets the win. Yeah. You had the triple threat for the United States title. Logan Paul retains, sadly. Owens and Orton come to the ring in a golf cart. That was a callback to something that happened on SmackDown, I think. Blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, this streamer named I Show Speed showed up in the stupid Prime bottle outfit. This is him right here. But he shows up, clad in the Prime bottle outfit, and helps Logan Paul. Ugh. And then he gets obliterated by Randy hitting an RKO on him on the announce table. Let's see. Orton counters the pop-up powerbomb from Owens, into a devastating RKO. But Paul's there, throws Orton out of the ring, and then Paul hits a big frog splash on Owens to retain the title. Okay. Bayley actually beat Io Sky to win the WWE Women's Championship. I don't remember if I had predicted that. I think maybe I did. Doesn't really matter. Yeah, Bayley hits a big elbow drop and then hits the Rose Plant, which is her finisher, and she wins. Okay. Jesus, this is jumping way ahead to the beginning. But yes, of course, Cody Rhodes defeats Roman Reigns in the main event of WrestleMania Night 2, Sunday night, and he wins the undisputed WWE Universal Championship in the Bloodlines Rules match. And you can see here, The Undertaker showed up at one point to choke slam The Rock. The Rock had come out of nowhere, or he had this big entrance after John Cena showed up. Cena shows up to beat up Solo Sikoa. And storyline, it makes sense because Sikoa had a match with Cena where he hit the Samoan spike on him, like right in the throat, like 3-4 times back to back, something or other like that. So Cena's got some payback in mind. He shows up, beats up Sikoa, and I think he planted Roman as well, but whatever. Then The Rock shows up. Oh yeah. Cena went to punch The Rock. Rock catches him right into the rock bottom. And then after that was when Undertaker showed up. Choke slams The Rock, and that gets the two of them out of the way. And basically after that was... Oh, okay. The Rock levels Cena with the rock bottom, and then Rollins comes out in his Shield gear and the Shield music. But he got stopped by Reigns, I guess. And then that's when The Undertaker shows up. There was a blackout, and then Undertaker shows up. Cody hits 3 successive crossroads on Roman to get the win and become the Universal Champion. And this emotional celebration happens. Cody gets joined in the ring by his mother. His wife, Brandy, was there, who was also there during his entrance. Cody's entrance was actually pretty cool. Randy Orton, Triple H, CM Punk, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, LA Knight, Cena, Rollins, Bruce Pritchard, and Triple H, who they already said, many of whom embraced American Nightmare while the universe wholeheartedly embraced their new champion, blah, blah, blah. So I think those were the Sunday matches. And then this says Saturday results. Here's one of the ones where I was wrong. Rhea Ripley actually manages to retain her women's world title against Becky. Now, what I have heard is that they even announced this on commentary. Becky was supposedly sick with the flu, had a fever, whatever the hell. Yeah. all of a sudden Rhea has longer hair now. I don't remember that happening, but whatever. And she has this ugly fucking face paint, war paint makeup on. She comes out with her song being sung by Motionless in White. Maybe that's one of the reasons why I don't really care for her theme song, is I don't really care for this band. Anyways. Becky went for a super manhandle slam, which is basically the rock bottom, by the way. But the super version, I would assume, would be like off of the second rope or off of the top rope or something. But Rhea counters into a pair of riptides that gets her the win. Okay. The tag team title 6-way ladder match. This one was nice. And something I don't know if I predicted it exactly or if I was just hoping for it, but it happened. We have now split. The undisputed tag team titles are now split. You have one team has the Raw titles and another team has the SmackDown titles. As you can see the picture here, I'm going to use their proper tag team name, A-Town Down Under, which was Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. They managed to get the SmackDown tag team titles. And then the Awesome Truth, Miz and R-Truth, have got the Raw tag team titles. So, the Judgment Day have lost their tag team titles. We already went over how Damian Priest got the World Heavyweight title from Rollins. Well, no, not from Rollins, from McIntyre, who got it from Rollins. Yeah. And then we also had, okay, so this was this other tag match of all the luchadors. Originally, I think this was scheduled to be Rey Mysterio and somebody else versus Santos and Dominic Mysterio. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I swear it was somebody else being booked in the billing for this match. But Andrade took their place or whatever. Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just supposed to be whatever. But Rey Mysterio and Andrade get the win. I don't remember even predicting a finish for this match or a winner. But the faces won. So, move on. They had some help from a couple of big muscly dudes in like Rey Mysterio masks who were unmasked to show a couple of football players, I think. Oh, mystery men revealing themselves as NFL superstars Jason Kels and Lane Johnson of the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't watch football, so I don't know who they are, but whatever. Apparently they're players for the Eagles. We have the War of the Brothers Oos. And this match actually went pretty much exactly the way I predicted. I predicted that Jay was going to win. And I'm not sure if it was in my predictions video. I may have said something about it basically being like a squash match. Maybe. I don't remember exactly. But kind of like, again, like the headcanon that I wanted to, or that I was hoping for with this match, is that it would be basically like a squash match, and that Jay would just absolutely destroy or just dominate Jimmy. And it would basically be to show how much Jay has improved since leaving stepping out of the shadow of Roman and the bloodline, leaving SmackDown, becoming his own man on Raw, and having his own experiences, these new experiences, teaming with other people, being out on his own for the first time in his career, basically. And it basically was just that. Jay just dominated Jimmy. And yeah, there was a mercy spot at one point where Jimmy was down on his knees and Jay went to super kick the bejesus out of him and then stopped himself. I guess Jimmy begged for his brother's hand. He was begging for mercy. Jimmy's nastiness reared its ugly head once again. Anyways, Jay counters into a spear and then hits the Uso splash to earn the win. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever. We had the 6-woman tag team match. Jade Cargill, Naomi, and Bianca Belair won against Damage Control, which, again, I would have to say we shouldn't even bother calling them Damage Control anymore because that was Bayley's thing. Let's just call them the Kabuki Warriors and Dakota Kai. Asuka had went for her mist, but it backfires as she hit Kairi with it, allowing Cargill, Belair, and Naomi to wipe them out, punctuated by a huge Jaded from Cargill. Jade Cargill's finishing move is called Jaded, which is one of the most simplistic finisher names you'll ever come up with. And if you don't know what the move is, it's, let me see if I can remember, Beth Phoenix's old Glam Slam. So you get behind them, you get the double chicken wing, you lift them up, and then you slam them down on their face. And then she even rolls them over the same way and does the back bend pose for the pin combination. So yeah, that was that match. I don't remember really giving a shit about this match to give a prediction, but I probably said the faces. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Here's another one I was wrong about. Sami Zayn actually defeats Gunther to win the Intercontinental Championship. Sammy's wife and son were there, and there was all this other stuff going on. I guess Gunther was going for a splash. I don't know if he was going from the middle rope or the top rope. Oh, yeah, from the top rope. Okay. Zayn nails him with the haluva kick to stun him, and then grabs him and hits the brain buster, I think, off the top rope. So it's a top rope brain buster, or onto the top turnbuckle, I think is how he did it. And then he nails another haluva kick and wins the match. And then we had the tag team match, The Rock and Roman versus Cody and Seth, and of course Rock and Roman got the win. This match was not supposed to be a Bloodline Rules match, but it basically turned into one when The Rock decided to use his authority as being on the board of directors to threaten the referee, I'm going to fire you if you disqualify us or any of this other bullshit. And so it basically became like a no DQ match, although only for The Rock and Roman. I think they used weapons. There was probably interference. The Rock had worked over Seth's knee, which is why Seth's knee was hurting in the match with Drew on Sunday. Anyways, Rollins and Rhodes put up a valiant fight, but they got beat. Just as I knew they would. So, whatever. Yeah. Man, I wish I had done that in reverse order. Yeah. Yeah. So those are the results from WrestleMania. I think I got most of them correct and only a couple wrong. I did not think that Sammy was going to beat Gunther. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. I got it wrong about, what was it called? The Philadelphia street fight match. Yeah, I thought Cross and his goons were going to get the win, but I guess not. You know, I had no idea they were going to have Bubba Ray Dudley as the referee. I thought AJ was going to win this match, and I was wrong. I was hoping that either Orton or Owens would win this match, but I was wrong there. I just wanted Logan Paul to lose the damn title so he could go away. I really do not like that fucker. I think I predicted Bayley to win that one, but I'm not sure. I don't remember. And Cody, of course, won. Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. It had to. Like, they had to not screw that up. Oh, yeah, this is another one that I got wrong. I thought Becky was going to win. Or I was hoping Becky was going to win. Although that's going to come up later on, because now that we've gone over the results from WrestleMania, it's time to get into Monday Night Raw. And I'm going to go through these as fast as I can, because we got a lot to get to here. We're going to switch back to this. Okay. So, those were the results from WrestleMania as compared to my predictions. Let's switch on over to Raw. April 8th, 2024, which was still in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, this time in the Wells Fargo Center, which is a smaller arena. This also happened to be the night of the eclipse. In case you haven't heard about this, there was a big eclipse, solar eclipse that happened earlier in the afternoon around 3-ish, between 3 and 4. Yeah. At the very beginning of the show, Triple H comes out to a big pop from the crowd. And he starts cutting a promo. And he introduces Cody as the new undisputed WWE champion. Cody comes out with the belt, of course. I was wondering if they were going to have Cody come out with a new championship belt, or if they're saving that for later on. Because Cody had been saying that he wanted the old Winged Eagle title, which was the one that Hulk Hogan held, Bret Hart held. It was the one that was around when Cody's father, Dusty, was in the WWE, the WWF back then. He wanted to either bring that belt back or at least have it so he could give it to his father, who is passed away, but oh well. They definitely do need a new belt, because that one they have that's just the big WWE logo, it's really basic. And I mean, we made this new world heavyweight title belt, and it looks really nice. I'm not crazy about the stupid side plate little round nameplates or whatever. They're just logo plates for the current champion. I prefer the old style of title belt where it has like an actual nameplate, like usually down at the bottom of the centerpiece. I prefer those titles myself. They changed to the side plate design some time ago, and I don't know, I just don't think it looks that good. Anyways, so Cody comes out. Oh, and Triple H introduces this special video that some of the guys in the production truck had made just hours after Cody had won the title at WrestleMania last night. And he says, I should mention that they were on a different design for the stage. Apparently this is the same stage setup that they had used for the NXT Stand and Deliver pay-per-view that happened on, I think it was Saturday, maybe early Saturday, or it may have even been Friday. I don't know. But NXT had their own show over the weekend. And it was also at the Wells Fargo Center. And again, it was very minimalistic. Not even really a big grandiose stage or anything like that. No pyro, basically, except for maybe little fire shooters up by the entryway. Very basic stage. Anyways, Triple H says that, like, because of the really minimalistic stage and everything, we don't have the big Tron up there that we normally do. So we brought down these little TV monitors so we can watch it. Even though there's a big, like, Jumbotron hanging above the ring. But anyways, they cut to this special video, and it's basically just kind of a recap of Cody's whole story from, like, when he first debuted in the WWE years and years ago. When he first debuted, all the way up through his stupid Stardust gimmick, which basically ruined him. He went away. I think they even showed some pictures from him fighting outside of the WWE. You know, there's some things like that. And I don't think there was anything in AEW, obviously. But then it was smash cut to Cody's return to the company at WrestleMania 2 years ago, fighting Rollins. And then the kind of heartbreaking defeat at the hands of Roman and the Bloodline last year. And then we just jump straight to this year, him winning and all that. So it's just this big recap video of Cody's whole story. After the video, Cody and Triple H hug, and then Cody starts cutting a promo, and he asks Samantha Irvin, who's the ring announcer chick, to just one more time announce him as the new champion, and she does. And Cody continues his promo. He says something about being at the top of the mountain. And I'm just thinking, but we're literally only halfway up. Cody brings up Roman, and he's talking about Roman and the bloodline and all this stuff. And then The Rock's music hits. And he comes out. And he's standing there in the ring with Cody. The Rock comes out, by the way. He has his own title belt. That's the People's Champion title belt, which was apparently given to him by the widow of Muhammad Ali. I can't remember her name. Sorry. But apparently she gave him this belt that they had made for The Rock because apparently it was Muhammad Ali who gave Rock the nickname of the People's Champion. Way, way back when that first started. But yeah. But The Rock's just standing there with his People's title belt. And The Rock keeps trying to talk, and the crowd keeps booing him. The crowd keeps booing him, and they don't really want him to talk. And at one point, there was a chant for The Undertaker. As I said, Undertaker came out, chokeslammed The Rock. There had to be a bunch of censorship, both because the crowd was like chanting holy shit, and The Rock kept, I think he dropped an F-bomb in there somewhere, and I can't remember what else he said, but they had to censor him a couple of times, and they had to censor the crowd. And they're talking, and The Rock gets around to, like, we've both got these belts, and he says, can you do me a favor? I've always wanted to hold that belt, the undisputed belt. He says he's a avid collector of, wrestling title belts and all this stuff, but he's never gotten to hold that one. And Cody's like, okay, I'll let you hold this one if you let me hold yours. And so there's this big, awkward, long moment where Cody hands the undisputed title over to Rock, and Rock hands the People's Championship over to Cody. And they're both just kind of holding each other's belts for a second. Rock puts the belt on his shoulder, just kind of holds it there for a minute. And I think that was when the crowd actually started chanting, "This is awkward." Yeah, it was. They switch the belts back, so Cody has the undisputed title again, and Rock gets his People's title back again. And Rock continues by saying, I have to leave for a while now. And the crowd starts chanting, na 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 na, goodbye, that kind of thing. But he says to Cody, your story with Roman is finally over, but your story with me is just beginning. So he's basically challenging Cody somewhere down the line. He had actually said at one point, it doesn't matter if you're still champion or not. When I come back, I'm coming after you. And then before The Rock leaves, he says, I have something to give you. And he reaches into his little pants pocket and he pulls something out, and we can't see what it is. And he tells Cody, hold your hand out, and he puts it in Cody's hand and kind of like holds it. And he says, I don't even have to show you what this is. You don't even have to look at it to know what this is. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. But he says to him, don't break my heart again. Again, not really sure what the hell that meant. But then The Rock leaves. And that's basically the end of that segment. And this took something like 47 freaking minutes. This whole big long opening segment. There was a lot of talking, a lot of stalling because the crowd was chanting things. They also happen to cut over and they say, oh yeah, we have a Spanish announce table for once. That won't end badly at all. Anyways. So I think they did another thing where the first hour of Raw was like commercial free, and they certainly made up for it after the first hour because, Jesus, there were a lot of commercial breaks during matches, in between matches and segments. God, it was a mess. But anyways, after The Rock and Cody left for the end of their segment, Shinsuke Nakamura's music hits, and out he comes. It's time for our first match. And then some music I didn't really recognize hit. The crowd in the arena seemed to know who it was, and it wasn't until I think it actually displayed on. They do have a video screen. It's very small, but it's like the side screens. And it has like the name of the person, their little Minitron or whatever you want to call it. And it's Ilya Dragunov from NXT, the reigning NXT champion. He comes out to make his Monday Night Raw debut. And we actually get a fairly nice match between the two of them. I didn't write down a whole lot from the match. But there was this interesting combo. It was basically the finish of the match. Dragunov gets Nakamura up, power bombs the bejesus out of him. It almost looked like a jackknife power bomb. And then he follows it up by diving on top of him and forearm shotting him just right in the face while he's on the ground or while he's on the mat. I think they said that he had some kind of interesting name for that. I don't remember what it was. I wasn't able to write it down. But then Dragunov hits what is called the Torpedo Moscow, which is basically like a running, jumping, like headbutt. And that's his finisher, and he gets the win. So Dragunov wins his debut match on Raw against Nakamura. They cut to a video of, Drew McIntyre. So this is basically some recapping of the stuff, what happened with McIntyre and Rollins at WrestleMania. It also kind of showed some of the stuff from, I think it might have been last week's Raw, where McIntyre was at like a funeral and he was like giving a eulogy for Seth's reign or whatever. But anyways, they showed that, and they also show Priest cashing in on McIntyre after that match and everything. Anyways, after the whole video package, again, it was basically like a recap video. They did this several times during the show. These recaps of different matches that are relevant to what's about to happen. Recapping the stuff from WrestleMania, and then they go, oh, this person's here. Well, they showed Drew McIntyre like out in the parking area or whatever. He's getting out of his car and he's coming into the arena. So he's here. And then they cut over and there's the whole Judgment Day walking through some backstage area. They're here too, complete with Priest, who's got the world title belt, and he's in this fancy, like, red suit. It's got, like, designs. I don't even know how to describe it, but it looked really nice suit. But after that, they cut to a commercial, so that must have been the end of the first hour. They show another WrestleMania recap video when they come back from the commercial. And 3 members of the Judgment Day are already in the ring. JD McDumbass, Finn Balor, and Dum Dum, they're all in the ring. Dom tries to talk, of course gets booed by the crowd. They don't want him to talk because he sucks. He fights through it and introduces Rhea Ripley, who comes out. And this is where I noticed that she had longer hair, because I didn't see WrestleMania. I didn't see any of the pictures. I did not think she had such long hair. I thought it was only like shoulder length, but this was like going way longer than that. Like, I don't know if she was wearing hair extensions or I don't know. Maybe she's just had it that way for a while and she's kept it back in a ponytail or some other little hairdo or whatever. She hugs each other member of the Judgment Day, and then she talks. Didn't really say much of anything. Finn then introduces Priest, who then comes out to new theme music, or at least I think it was new theme music. It didn't sound like his older one. And he comes out with the world title belt, of course. Big group hug, all of them hug together, whatever the hell. He talks some, and then he says some dumb shit about everybody needs to rise for the Judgment Day, and they're all there. He's holding up his belt, and Rhea's holding up her belt, and blah, blah, blah. And then out of nowhere, you see R-Truth jump in, and he's got the Raw tag belt, and he holds it up with the rest of the group. And they're like, what the hell are you doing here? You're not in the group. Jesus Christ. And he's like, but I brought the tag team titles back to the Judgment Day. This, like, brain dead gimmick for R-Truth is really, really bad. But anyways, before Truth gets his absolute ass destroyed by the Judgment Day, The Miz comes out, the other half of Awesome Truth, and he's got the other belt. And he's like, I don't want to be in the Judgment Day, because Truth was like, I think we need to think about letting somebody else into the Judgment Day. You're not in the Judgment Day. So anyways, Miz comes out and he's like, I don't want to be in the Judgment Day, Truth. And you really don't want to be either. Blah, blah, blah. They start talking about doing a 6-person tag team match. Truth's talking like, yeah, it's going to be Miz and Truth and the guy you can't see versus these 3 lamos in the Judgment Day who don't have titles. So Finn, JD, and Dom. And he said the guy we can't see. And Miz, stupid ass that he is like, you are talking about a real person and not like little Jimmy, your little imaginary friend. And Truth is like, yes. Judgment Day jumps them, knocks the crap out of them, and throws them out of the ring. And we cut to a commercial break. We come back, and the match is happening. Supposedly, it's 2-on-3 handicap match, but it doesn't stay that way for long. So we get the Awesome Truth versus JD McNugget, Finn Balor, and Dum Dum dipshit. I'll just recap. Again, I'm going very minimal on these matches because I don't want to take very long. Miz ends up hitting a double tribute to Maurice, that is the kneeling DDT. I think he nails that on Dom and JD. He gets them both down on their knees, grabs them, and plants them. There's a picture-in-a-picture commercial. They do a bunch of those during the show. Like I said, they got their damn commercial breaks in. It's ridiculous. This is why, by the way, this is why WWE is probably going, well, they've already signed the deal. This is why they're going to Netflix in 2025. I don't know if it's going to be exclusive on Netflix or if they're still going to be on the USA Network, but if you get Netflix, you'll be able to watch stuff commercial free or something. I don't know. But anyway, so they do this picture-in-a-picture commercial, blah, blah, blah. At some point, I think Truth and Miz are getting beat down by the Judgment Day. And John Cena's music hits. Of course, because that's the guy you can't see. I knew who they were referencing as soon as he saw it. And hell, even some people in the crowd started chanting, Cena, Cena. But Cena comes out, runs to the ring real quick, gets in the corner, grabs the tag rope, and he's like, tag me in, tag me in. And I think it was Truth tagged him in, or maybe it was Miz, actually. It was Miz tags him in, because Miz was the legal guy at the time. Miz tags in Cena. Cena comes in, hits his 5 moves of doom, basically. We get a 3-way 5-knuckle shuffle. All 3 members of the Judgment Day get planted with Cena's, what does he call that? The big where he picks them up, turns them around, and slams them down. I can't even remember the name of that move. Protoplex or whatever it's called. But all 3 members, Cena, Truth, and Miz, all do this move on one person, one at a time, and they get them down. And then you can't see me. And then they hit the ropes and they drop the fist. And then they pick the dudes up, and all 3 of them at the same time hit the attitude adjustment on their own guy. They all go down, go for the cover, 1, 2, 3. And Cena and Miz and Truth win the match. Jesus Christ. Yeah, this is fantastic. We get another recap, this time from SmackDown, because they decided to put this on SmackDown instead of wasting time on WrestleMania. But they did the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which was won by Bronson Reed, who they show backstage with the trophy, and he cuts a promo. And it was during this that I noticed a visual glitch in the picture. I'm not sure if it was there for everyone or it might have just been my reception, although I doubt it was my reception because I just got a new cable box type of thing, which I got specifically for that program, because up until I got this thing, which I used to watch Raw last week as well, so my picture was good, but up until then I was having really bad problems with the reception, my normal cable box, and I had gotten advice that if I got this new cable box, it's more of like a streaming box, but you can also use it to watch TV. But I was advised to do that, and then the reception would be really good. So I don't know if it had anything to do with my cable reception. I think this was an intentional visual glitch, some sort of thing to I don't know, it was some kind of metaphorical thing or something. There's rumors that since the passing of Bray Wyatt, or Wyndham Rotunda, his brother, who you remember as Bo Dallas, and I believe he was also playing the character of Uncle Howdy. But anyways, there's rumors that Bo Dallas found Bray's journal, which said something to the effect of, continue my story, or something along those lines. But again, there's rumors that they're going to do a new faction in the WWE that's going to continue this whole Bray Wyatt story that Bray wanted to tell before he passed away. There's rumors about this. Only rumors. We have no idea if this is even going to happen. I don't know. But I don't know if this little visual glitch that happened during Bronson Reed's promo was intentional or not, and it was some kind of foreshadowing. I don't know. But anyways, after his promo, they cut to a commercial break. And when we come back from the commercial break, we see Rhea and Dum Dum walking through a hallway, and Rhea says to Dom, we have a new problem with Andrade, because Andrade had kind of like almost been brought in by Dom, and it backfired on him. And she basically tells Dom, you need to go and take care of this. And Dom's like, okay, I'll go talk to Pierce. And he walks off. So he walks off, and Rhea's still walking forward, and then all of a sudden you see a chair smack her upside the fucking head, and the camera cuts over. There's Liv Morgan. She wanged her in the head with a chair, and then she fucking wails on her. Security comes out almost immediately and breaks the two up. And I think Pierce was there as well. He's like, no, we can't have this. But it's like, nah, we can have this because Liv is on her revenge tour, and I'm all for it. These two still got unfinished business. They used to be friends. They used to be tag team partners. I don't know if they held the women's tag team titles, but they were on the hunt for them, and they just kept losing, and that's what decided, or what prompted Rhea to turn heel. This was long ago, before she even joined the Judgment Day. But yeah, I don't think they ever really had much of a resolution in their feud. We cut back to the ring, and there's Indy Hartwell. And Candice LeRae is standing on the outside of the ring. And we're like, okay, so there's going to be a match. Once again, some unfamiliar music hits, and out walks Roxanne Perez, who's the NXT Women's Champion. So we have another NXT Raw debut. Supposedly, these two have a little bit of history with each other. Indy was the NXT Women's Champion. She had to vacate the title Roxanne was the champion. She had to vacate the title. And Indy won the title in a ladder match. She won the vacant title in a ladder match. And I don't know how that really even says anything that they have history. It's just like Roxanne was injured, so she had to vacate the title. And so NXT was like, okay, we need a new women's champion. let's just do a ladder match. I don't know how many women were in it. Doesn't matter. Indy won. But I guess Roxanne is pissed off about this. Roxanne's a heel now, by the way. Apparently she was a babyface for a while, but now she's a heel. She calls herself the Prodigy. The start of the match, I think Indy goes for a handshake, and Roxanne goes into it and then slaps her in the face. Wasn't really a whole lot of action to the match. At one point, Indy throws Roxanne into the ropes, and Candice is over there. She trips Roxanne, who falls flat on her face. The ref was distracted. Candice walks around the corner of the ring to get away from it. And Indy's like, what the hell? She goes over to Candice. She's like, what are you doing? I told you not to do this. And then Roxanne gets back up. She kicks Indy in the guts or whatever. And then she proceeds to hit the code red, which is like, you get them doubled over, you jump over them, and then you do like the sunset flip powerbomb thing. Apparently that's her finisher. She has her own name for it, but I don't remember what they said. I just know it as the code red. She hits that and she gets the win. So another NXT call-up has just beaten a Raw superstar. She gloats on her way back up the ring and she leaves and we're done. Whatever. More WrestleMania recaps. One of which being Sammy winning the title, the Intercontinental title off of Gunther. And then we cut backstage and there's Sammy. And he's like coming into the arena, all this stuff. Jey Uso comes up. And he starts talking to him. Yada, yada, yada. They cut to a commercial break. When we come back from the commercial, we're looking at Roxanne Perez, who's walking through one of the backstage areas. And Natalya, Natty Neidhart, comes up. And she says, I'm going to see you on NXT. And then Roxanne says, no, I'm going to see you on my show. It's like, yeah, that's what I just said. Anyways, back to the ringside area. Sammy's music hits and he comes out. Starts cutting a promo. The crowd chants, ole, 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 ole. And Imperium's music hits because Sammy was talking about Gunther and how he beat him. But he was like, you know what? I respect Gunther, though. Sammy being very gracious babyface in this whole promo. But the two Imperium goobers come out. And they're talking a whole lot of shit. And it looks like they're getting ready to attack Sammy and beat the crap out of him. Chad Gable's music hits. Because right before Imperium came out, Sammy was thanking all these people who helped him, blah, 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 blah. But there's one more guy that really helped me. He was about to talk about Gable. That's when Imperium's music hit and they came out. So Imperium was getting ready to jump Sammy. Gable comes running out, and he comes out for the save to help Sammy. We cut to another commercial. And when we come back from this commercial, they show a couple of little video packages. Number one is that the Backlash pay-per-view, or the WrestleMania Backlash, I didn't say WrestleMania Backlash, so I guess it's just Backlash this year. But it's going to be happening in France this year. And then they also showed a video package for Sheamus, who's been absent for a while. Apparently he's been dealing with an injury. Apparently he's coming back soon, and this is like a return hype video. But we cut back to the ring, and it's time for a match, Sammy and Chad Gable versus Imperium. At one point, there was a "We want beach balls" chant from the crowd. Another picture-in-a-picture commercial. Imperium hits their finishing move, which the one guy gets him up in a power bomb, and then the other guy comes off the middle rope or whatever and hits like a European uppercut as the guy power bombs him. They hit that on Gable, and Sammy comes in for the save to break up the pinfall. Sammy and Gable end up hitting stereo German suplexes on Kaiser and Vinci. Sammy locks the ankle lock on one of the two nitwits. It must have been Vinci, because Kaiser comes in for the save. Like Gable was telling him, lock it in. So Sammy does Gable's ankle lock. They were borrowing each other's moves, basically. But Kaiser broke it up for the save. Sammy's getting ready to hit the Helluva Kick, and he's in his own corner, and he's like, you know what? Tag me, because Gable's right there. Tags, Sammy runs across and hits the Helluva Kick on whichever schmuck. I think it was probably Vinci, because he always takes the L. Hits the Helluva Kick, and then Gable comes up, grabs him, and does the Chaos Theory German suplex, because that's his finisher. It was really, really, clumsy looking. It was really slow and just nowhere near as smooth as it should be in the way Gable probably normally does it. But he hits it, and he gets the win. So Sammy and Gable win. We get more WrestleMania recaps. And then they cut backstage to Jay, once again, Jey Uso. He cuts a backstage promo. And then they show, so the Bronson Reed promo from earlier, he was talking about, so they're hyping up, the main event of the night is this fatal four-way match for the number one contendership to the World Heavyweight title. It's Bronson Reed, Drew McIntyre, who I think that was the point of his promo video earlier, Drew McIntyre, Bronson Reed, Jey Uso, and for some reason, Ricochet, who shouldn't be anywhere near the damn World Heavyweight title. I think he was basically just in this match to take the fall. Speaking of which, though, after Jay cuts his promo, they show Ricochet in the back, shadow boxing or whatever. And then they cut to, the general manager's office. And there's Adam Pearce, and there's Nick Aldis, and there's Ava Raine, who is the new general manager of NXT, and she also happens to be The Rock's daughter. And this girl was so bad in the ring, they decided to cut her in-ring career short so that she could be a stupid general manager authority figure character. She's not even really all that good at talking either. But anyways, the three of them are there, and they're talking about, we're going to be doing a draft here soon, because WrestleMania's over, it's time to shake things up and change the rosters around a little bit. And then all of a sudden, we hear this annoying, obnoxious, bitchy voice. And you know who this is, because Adam Pearce sure as hell did. Because as soon as you hear the voice, he's like, does anybody want to do a switch or a trade? Up walks Chelsea Green. And she's yakety, 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 bitching about, I wasn't on WrestleMania. And it's like, bitch, you're not worthy of being on WrestleMania. Your character fucking sucks. And she's just complaining and nagging and bitching and moaning. The worst fucking character they have in the company right now. This bitch is getting Vicky Guerrero levels of heat from me. And not in the positive, I want somebody to get their comeuppance or give her her comeuppance because she gets her ass beat all the time. No. It's absolute X-Pac, go the fuck away and stay there kind of heat. I don't want to see this bitch no more. She annoying as fuck. Her voice is grating as hell. Choke. Just choke until you pass out, bitch. Go away. Your character fucking sucks. And you get your ass steamrolled every week by everybody. The only reason this bitch was women's tag team champion was because of her horrible fucking partner. What was her name? Piper Niven. She never would have won anything without Piper. And I don't even like Piper. So anyways, Pierce is just like, yeah, you've got a match. Go out to the ring. And Chelsea leaves. And we cut to another commercial break. And yeah, this is when they show a video hyping up the draft. It's coming up in a couple of weeks. Raw and SmackDown are getting some draft picks or whatever the fuck. We may get some NXT people called up. Who cares? We have to establish them first. If we're going to do anybody, I'd really like to see Dijak come up to the main roster or come back up to the main roster. Dijak, if you don't know, for the fans who have been watching for a while, you may remember the Retribution stable or faction, which ended up being led by Mustafa Ali, who was a nobody jobber, and he's not even in the company anymore. But they were this mass group of... They were portrayed originally as some kind of invading force. It was dumb. The masks they wore looked like shit. One of the guys, I think they called him Mace at the time. He ended up becoming the guy who was Mace, who was the half of the Maximum Male Models with Mansoor. But yeah, he was in there. Dijak, who was known as T-Bar in the group, wore this ugly mask. Mia Yim was also the group's only female member, and she had an ugly mask as well. But you could tell it was her because she had blue hair, and it's like, okay, that's her. She still has blue hair even to this day. But yeah, so Dijak was T-Bar on the main roster. Years ago on NXT, he was Dominik Dijakovic. And on the Indies, he was Donovan Dijakovic. So, a lot of D's. But now he's returned to NXT, and he's just known as Dijak. And he's portrayed as this... He has this background, supposedly, as some kind of criminal investigator. And so he has this room that's basically like a garage storage unit that it looks like. It has this opening, big, you pull it up kind of garage door. And he has this little desk. He used to work for the cops, apparently, even though he got fired after whatever, some kind of bullshit. This is the kind of backstory that they tell. But so he's like, he really likes justice. He's like obsessed with it. And he's a heel. So but he's this really brutal, just dishes out his own brand of justice. Basically like what the Big Boss Man used to be years and years ago, when the Boss Man was a heel. I think he actually uses a nightstick as a weapon, just like the Boss Man did. But he's got this black leather trench coat, duster coat thing, and he has this black and white entrance. The camera goes black and white, and it's just him. And then there's just a splash of red color for his name, so it's kind of like Sin City. Which, if you haven't seen the Sin City movies, go and check them out, or go read the comics, whatever. But yeah, so it's kind of like Sin City, Big Boss Man, heel. And he's just really brutal, beating the hell out of people. And he cuts these promos. So he's in his little room, like I said, this little storage unit or whatever. He's got a desk. He's got a little notepad. He's like writing down notes. And he has a little tape recorder thing so he can record his voice. So again, like proper criminal investigator kind of OCD kind of shit, And he's had all these different targets that he's tried to take out. But again, really, really obsessed with justice. I'd really love to see that gimmick come up to the main roster, because there's plenty of people who need to face some hard justice. But anyways, so back to the show. They talk about the draft coming up. We cut back to the ring. Chelsea Green comes out to silence from the crowd. The crowd did not seem to give a fuck about her. And then some more unfamiliar music hits. And out comes Jade Cargill. So she's finally getting her first match on Raw or on a show that's not WrestleMania. We get this match. Turns out it's not much of a match, because Chelsea, as soon as seeing Jade Cargill, is like, no way, I didn't sign up for this. She's looking at the commentators like, call off the match. I didn't sign up for this. Tell them I didn't know. She's like, no. Turns around, gets booted in the head by Jade. Jade picks her up and hits her finisher, which is called Jaded, the big glam slam. Drops her on her face, flips her over, gets the pin, 1, 2, 3, match is over. That fucking quick. So again, Chelsea portrayed as being a complete pushover. She's nothing without a partner. Jade gets the win. The crowd didn't seem to care much. And then we move on. Another WrestleMania recap. This time started off something I forgot to mention while I was recapping WrestleMania. I believe it was at the beginning of the Sunday show, night 2. Stephanie McMahon came out to the ring and talks. And supposedly they're cutting, or they're trying to hype this up. This is the beginning of a new era. The Triple H era in the WWE, because he's running the show. And again, if you have been watching my show for a while, you should know that I can't stand Stephanie. She was the reason why I quit doing this show and quit watching Raw for like 7 years. This is going to be like episode 251 of this show. Go back and watch 248, I think, was the last official video that I did, the official episode, before I quit doing the Wrestling Rant. Go back and watch that one, and you'll see why I hate her so much. Her on-screen character, anyways. Supposedly backstage, everybody says she's the nicest chick and all that, and it's like, shame we never see that on camera, really. on camera, she's horrible. She's one of the worst heels that we've ever had. Never get her comeuppance. I really hope she's not coming back to being an on-screen character. Because, again, her ending up running Raw for a while was the reason why I quit in the first place. I don't know if I really want to do that again. But yeah. So they show this WrestleMania promo recap, whatever, and the Stephanie clip of her announcing the Triple H era. We cut backstage and there's Sami Zayn again, who comes up across the Alpha Academy. Gable and Tozawa and Otis and Maxine Dupree was probably there. And Sammy's like, sorry to interrupt you guys, but I really need to talk to Chad. And so the rest of them leave. Sammy and Chad have this little moment where he says, like, I know you asked me for a favor, and whatever. Sammy basically says, I know you want a shot at the Intercontinental title. I would be honored to give you one next week. So they're setting up a match for next week, Intercontinental title, Sammy defending against Gable. Then we cut back to the ring and McIntyre's music hits. It's time for the big main event, the four-way. McIntyre comes out. No special entrance. He doesn't do any of his normal posing. He looks pissed. He gets in the ring and he asks for a mic, and he gets a mic and he starts trash talking. He's all bitches and motherfuckers, just up one side and down the other, just cussing out. Well, I don't know. He wasn't really cussing out anybody, but he's pissed, and he's just like, I beat Rollins. And he said, you know what, Seth, I respect you, but what I don't respect is Priest coming out. And he even said that the Money in the Bank was a joke, which I've been saying for a long, long time. But he said, you know who I'm really mad at? That son of a bitch CM Punk, who cost me the match. I turned my back on him for 1 second, and he sweeps the legs out from under me and clocks me with his stupid arm brace and beats me up. And then Priest was able to cash in. And he's pissed off, just ranting and raving. He's in the middle of a sentence. Jey Uso's music hits. And out he comes out, just getting a little interruption. And we get a commercial break. And when we come back from the commercial break, I was hoping that Bronson and Ricochet would already be in the ring and we could just start the match. But no. Bronson gets his entrance, and then Ricochet gets his entrance. And I'm still thinking, what in the hell is Ricochet doing here? He is not a world title contender. They need to bring back a cruiserweight title for him and all of these other smaller guys to compete for, because he is just way too small. But we get the match between these four. It's a fatal four-way match for the number one contendership to the World Heavyweight title, Damian Priest. And since it's a fatal four-way match, that means there's no disqualification. There was another picture-in-a-picture commercial. People started pulling weapons out. There was a chair, I think, at one point. Somebody pulled a table out. It ends up getting set up in one of the corners. Jay gets slammed. Like, Bronson Reed, I think, picks him up and, like, power slams him through the table in the corner. Another picture-in-a-picture commercial. Like I said, there were a lot of these commercials. Jay hits the spear on Reed. Drew comes in to break up the pin for the save. And then we had, I think Jay and McIntyre were kind of beating up Reed on the outside. And Reed gets laid out on the Spanish announce table. I told you it was going to come up, because that's the only reason those fuckers exist, is to get their shit wrecked. So Reed gets laid out on the Spanish announce table. Ricochet's in the ring, and he looks over, and he sees Reed on the table, and he's just like, and I think he even looked over at Samantha Irvin. They're dating, by the way, in case you didn't know. But he looks over at her and he says, "I'm sorry." And then he springboards off the ropes, does a 450 splash on top of Reed, puts him through the table, and Ricochet rammed his ribs and guts into the front edge of the table. He's out. He's on the ground selling like gruesome death. Reed is just flattened. The two of them are out. So McIntyre and Jey Uso are the only ones left standing in this match. They're in the ring. At one point, Drew gets Jay down, and he goes for his Claymore. He goes into a corner, and he does his little taunt, the 3, 2, 1, and he goes to do the Claymore, and then he stops, and the camera looks down. There's CM Punk, who hasn't been seen or heard from all damn night. He's grabbing onto Drew's ankle. He's like, "No, you're not going for it." And Punk lets go of him just in time for him to turn around and get speared by Jay. So Drew eats the spear. Jay goes up to the top rope, hits the Uso splash. 1, 2, 3. Jey Uso wins and is the new number one contender to Damian Priest's newly won World Heavyweight title. You see, Drew, I think this might be something that Punk was trying to teach you. You know, before Punk went out with injury or whatever, they already had some problems, the two of them. And I think what Punk is trying to teach you is that you can't take your eye off the ball. Drew keeps getting distracted, and it's screwing him over. So, but anyways, that was the end of the show. Monday Night Raw from April 8th, 2024, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the Wells Fargo Center, the night of the eclipse. And that's it. So hopefully, take a look here. Yeah, okay. So yeah, that'll be it for this episode of the Wrestling Rant. These are all still just kind of special episodes. I don't really think I'm going to be coming back to doing this full time because I just can't. I might still watch Raw every week until it starts to get bad, which it just might. So let me talk about a little something. So Cody has won the Undisputed Championship from Roman. During the press conference after WrestleMania, because they've been doing these stupid press conferences. But during the press conference, Triple H says something about there's going to be a new story for Roman, and it's going to blow people's minds. I'm like, I don't possibly know how you're going to blow anybody's minds with this. If it's anything like what I had said before, I think it was in my predictions video, I mentioned Roman going away, doing some soul searching, coming back as a face, and then having to probably fight the entire bloodline, now led by The Rock, and ending with his match against The Rock, where the two of them will have their little match, and Roman will end up as a redeemed babyface, and then he can be a hero and whatever. But that will probably coincide with another story that's probably going to be taking place involving Cody. I've been seeing this coming for a while now, and it's not even really subtle, the foreshadowing. Cody, for a long, long time now, this outfit that he wears, his ring gear and his entrance gear, you know, with the golden, like, eagles and the feathery wings and the red, white, and blue. If you watch the show The Boys, and you're familiar with the character of Homelander, this is what Cody looks like, his ring attire and all this. The red, white, and blue, and the eagle feathers, and the pauldrons and everything. His entrance at WrestleMania, by the way, showed on the video screens, you see this, like, war-torn, just burnt to a crisp battlefield. And you see this flag standing up out of it, and it has the Cody, the Nightmare family crest, this skull with the wings coming off of it. And it's like the Rhodes family crest. It's the same tattoo that he has on his neck, which it's really bad placement, but whatever. But yeah, that's the American Nightmare logo. So it's on this flag, and that's like the intro to his entrance. And then he comes up out of the stage, and he's wearing this skull helmet with his ring attire, or his entrance attire, really. And Brandy, his wife, comes up next to him, and she helps him take the helmet off, and then he walks down to the ring. So, yeah, again, the foreshadowing has not exactly been subtle. Cody's going to turn into Homelander. And again, if you're not familiar with Homelander, he's the villain of this The Boys show. He's supposedly a good guy, a hero. It's this show about, like, superheroes. He's supposedly this hero, good guy, or whatever, but, like, secretly behind the scenes, he is an evil as fuck, just absolute villain. Cody's going to go down that path. I'm almost positive of it. And long before Cody made his return to the WWE, and before even the formation of AEW, which was the company that Cody helped to start, Cody was doing he was signed to New Japan, and he was a member of the Bullet Club faction. And he was a member of the elite group in the Bullet Club, which was himself, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, maybe a couple of other guys. But then you had the rest of the Bullet Club guys who were jabroni, lamos, who, whatever. They had been in the group for a while. The Bullet Club has this really long and ugly history. And there's a series on YouTube if you want to look it up. I think it's called The Recount. Something like that. But if you look up the New Japan Pro Wrestling YouTube channel, you can find this. And it's a series of videos that goes through, like, the whole history of the Bullet Club up until a certain point. But you watch that. So this group runs they basically have a leader, despite the fact they say that they're like a group of peers, of brothers, basically. Supposedly, nobody in the group is supposed to have power over anybody else. And yet they always have this dominant, like, leader guy. When the group started, it was formed by Finn Balor. He was the original group, the original founder of the Bullet Club. He gets a couple of guys. I'm getting way off topic. Well, I mean, we're going into this, but it's like, whatever. But anyways, so they have this leader for a while, and then they get pissed off at him, and they take him out, and they kick him out of the group. And then a new leader steps up. And then he gets taken out. And it just keeps going that way, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Cody and Kenny Omega were kind of fighting over the leadership role at one point. And they had a match. Omega won, I think. And after the match, the other jabroni members of the Bullet Club attack Omega and Cody and the Young Bucks, the elite guys, the actual guys who have actual name value. But so these jabroni members, they attack and beat up the elite guys and basically kick them all out of the group. But yeah, the reason why I mention all of that is if you watch through that, you know that Cody is more than capable of being a heel. And not just a heel, but a very, like, kind of psychotic heel. Again, kind of like Homelander. But I just know that this is what's coming for Cody in the future. He's going to either slowly or very quickly turn into this Homelander-esque psychotic heel who's kind of all happy and smiling to the public face, and then behind closed doors, he's an evil prick. I just know that's what's going to happen. Although I could be wrong. I don't know. It doesn't matter. That's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Wrestling Rant. I hope you have enjoyed this. I don't know if I'm going to be doing next week's episode of Raw. I might. I won't be doing SmackDown because I don't care. And I work Fridays, so I don't have time. I just kind of wanted to come back to doing this for WrestleMania and some of the build up to WrestleMania. But I think we're done with that now. But anyways, thank you all for watching. Join us next time for more of my channel. Probably won't be Wrestling Rant, but we'll see. Join us again next time. We will be seeing you next time. But thank you all, and good night.